Good morning, students. Today we will discuss optical activity of haloalkanes or an organic compound. Now, students, before we begin with the optical activity, we have to go through the term plane polarized light. Generally, student, when a light from a source of it emits out, it propagates by vibrating in all directions. And a plane polarized light is a light which will vibrate in only one plane, or we can say in only one direction. Right? So before we begin with optical activity, let's first consider the plane polarized light. So we'll say that it is the light which propagates through a medium by vibrating in one plane, right? It will not vibrate in all the direction or in all the plane. It will vibrate in only one plane or the direction. Now let's consider that this is the source of a light, and the light which is emitting from it, right? It will be traveling or propagating in all direction, right? This is the normal format of the light. When this light, student, is made to fall on the Nicol prism, which is made up of calcium carbonate, it has got calcium carbonate in it. When it passes through this Nicol prism, student, then the light which we will obtain will be vibrating in only one plane. Right? Now this is known as the plane polarized light. Right? So this is the plane polarized light. Now student, when this plane polarized light is made, let me continue here only, when this plane polarized light is made to fall on the sample, right, here we have this sample in the solution form, right, and this is an organic compound here. This is the sample which we have taken, and when this plane polarized light just transmit through this sample, right, it will, now this is the expected plane of the light which will be passing from the plane from this sample, but when it passes through it, it gets just, we can say, rotated, or it just turned little bit toward either direction. It can be student either to the left or to the right, or we can say either it is anti-clockwise or it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, right? So if the sample of the organic compound is able to just rotate this plane polarized light, right, it will be known as, student, optically active compound, right, and optical activity will be shown by it. So what is the optical activity then, student? Optical activity will say that the property of a substance, of a chemical compound, to rotate, or we can say turn, the plane polarized light to either direction, that is left, anti-clockwise, or right, clockwise. Right? So if a substance is able to rotate the plane polarized light to either direction, it will be known as optically active substance or optically active compound, and the property will be known as, student, optical activity. Now student, the angle through which this plane polarized light has rotated, it is measured in terms of specific rotation. So next term, student, it is the specific rotation. So theta, student, is the specific rotation, and what it is, we can say, the degree of angle, or we can say the number of degree of angle the plane polarized light rotates or turns when passed through sample 1 decimeter of 1 gram ml concentration. Right? So hope so the last line is visible to you all, that specific rotation, it is the number of degree of angle that the plane polarized light will rotate. Right? It is rotating from the expected path or expected plane of it. It has rotated through theta angle, which is the number of the degree of angle which will be rotated when the plane polarized light passes through the sample length will be nearly 1 decimeter, and the solution concentration will be 1 gram per milliliter. Right? That angle will be known as, student, specific rotation. Right. Now student, next we will discuss about the, now student, if the plane polarized light is rotated toward clockwise direction, that is toward right, it will be known as the dextro-rotatory, right, with the plus sign. And if the plane polarized light has turned toward the left, that is anti-clockwise, it will be, or toward the left, it will be known as the levo-rotator. Right? So the optical activity is all about turning the light, plane polarized light, toward the right or toward the left from the expected plane. Right? Now the stereoisomers, so these two different forms, the dextrorotatory and the levorotatory, these are going to be the two forms, dextrorotatory and levorotatory, are the stereoisomers, or we can say the optical isomers, right, of a chemical compound, which are known as enantiomers. Enantiomers. Right? Now, so we have come now how we are going to decide, or how we are going to determine that whether the given optical compound will be optically active or not, just by looking the structure of it, or just having a look on the formula of a compound. Right. So the optical activity of a compound will be decided by just first finding out whether the chirality, or whether it has got a chiral carbon in it or not. So for that, first we will discuss, we will know that what do you mean by the word chiral. Now students, the chirality word has come from the word chiral, which means having handedness, either the left-handedness or the right-handedness. Right? Just if we just look on a sphere or a ball, right? And this ball, if we just have a look on, if we take a ball and just look it on the mirror, we will see that it appears to be same. It is a same, or we can say that the ball will have a mirror image of it, and that mirror image will just superimpose on it. Now from the word superimpose means to just get fit on it, right? So if I just take this left hand of mine, right, and if I just have a look on it on the mirror, right, so that this is there, and if I have a look on them of it on the mirror, right, this hand, or we can just simply take that if I am raising my left hand on the mirror and facing toward the mirror, it will seem that I have raised my the right hand, right? So but if these two images, the one which is the real image and other which is one which is the real object and other which is the image of it, if just two images, if you just bring it, the two images will not get superimposed, or they will not fit on one another, right? It will be in this way, right? So in the same way, I'm just trying to get it drawn on the board. I've drawn it on the board. You can just see this. These two hands are there, though they are very looking again on the board, right? Again hands, but just have a look on it that this hand has got the mirror image of this. But if we just place this hand over this image or over this, will they superimpose on one another? They are not going to superimpose. So these are non-superimposable images, right? Similarly, if I take a glass and just have a look on it on the mirror, these two will be superimposable images, right? We can take examples of some alphabets also. For example, if it is A, and if we draw alphabet A on a piece of paper and just have it view on it will appear to be the same. They are just superimposable. So they are the superimposable images. Similarly, we can have H also, O also. But when if we take V also. But if we take P, now that P, you think it is going to superimpose on one another? No, it is not going to superimpose on it. So this is non-superimposable. So I think this is clear that what is superimposable and what is non-superimposable. So we can just now define that what is a chiral, the chirality or the chiral, right? It is the object or a substance which does not superimpose on its mirror image, right? That means it is not going to fit on its mirror image. So chirality, it is a property by virtue of which object or we can say the structure of a compound will not superimpose on its mirror image, right? So this is clear that first what are the non-superimposable and the superimposable, right? If this is clear, so then we can move ahead that we will now go through that what is the cause of chirality in a substance or in an organic compound. Yes, students. So the cause of chirality in the organic compound is because of the tetrahedral nature of the carbon. So what is the cause of chirality? It is the tetrahedral nature of carbon, right? We know that the carbon sp3 hybridized carbon to have 4 different groups around it. Such a carbon is called asymmetric carbon. So students, we can say that how we are going to identify the chirality in an organic compound. For that, we have to just look for the asymmetric carbon. If the molecule will possess an asymmetric carbon, student, that time that organic compound will be a chiral organic compound. Now, asymmetric carbon means that, let's take an example here. If this is the case, you can see here that this is a carbon, sp3 hybridized carbon. It has got a tetrahedral structure and it has different groups around it, surrounding it. If this is the case, then this carbon will be known as the asymmetric carbon, right? So, if a organic compound contains the asymmetric carbon, that time it will be a chiral one and it will form non-superimposable mirror images. Now let me make a statement here that organic compound having a asymmetric carbon, right, will be chiral molecule, that is, it will form non-superimposable mirror images. Therefore, okay, till we are getting here. Therefore, if it is forming non-superimposable mirror images, student, then we can conclude that this is what till now what we have concluded here, that the organic compound having an asymmetric carbon will be a chiral molecule and it will form a non-superimposable mirror image, right? And student, one thing more thing I want to add here, that if it will form non-superimposable mirror images, then student, therefore the molecule will show optical activity. It will show student optical activity, that is, it will turn the plane polarized light toward left or toward the right. Right? Here is an exception. So then organic compound having asymmetric carbon will be a chiral molecule, that is, it will form non-superimposable mirror images and the molecule is going to show the optical activity. Student, here is an exception, that too I want to discuss here. Now students, you can see that on the board I have drawn this molecule here. This is the student lactic acid, right here. This carbon is asymmetric carbon denoted by a strict sign here. This is the asymmetric carbon and it will show the chirality and the mirror image which will be formed here. This is the mirror image of it. That means this compound is showing the will show the optical activity as it is forming the mirror image, and mirror image which is non-superimposable. So just get it put on this, impose it on this structure, you will find that this is not going to superimpose on it. So these are the non-superimposable mirror image. So it is going to be optically active. But if you see this one, this is tartaric acid, student. This is the lactic acid, and this is, student, tartaric acid. Now here we have got two asymmetric carbon. right? So you can see that this asymmetric, it has got the four groups attached to it different here also. Though it contains the two asymmetric carbon, but here it is, student, there is a plane of symmetry is there. So due to the presence of, though have two asymmetric carbon, but due to presence of plane of symmetry, student, it is optically inactive. Optically inactive. Though it has got the two asymmetric carbon, student, it must be optically active, but as this molecule has got the plane of symmetry, right, you can see that plane of symmetry, that which gets divided into two parts, similar or identical part, it will no more remain optically active, right, due to presence of the plane of symmetry. Hence the molecule is unable to show the optical activity. So we can simply here conclude that the molecule, to show the optical activity, asymmetric carbon is required, but it will also check on the plane of symmetry also, right? So now next come the optical isomers, students. So optical isomers, so organic compound is going to show two types of optical isomers are there, that is stereoisomers, dextro and the levo, which are known as the enantiomer, as I told you earlier, right? Clear? So this is there. Now next we will discuss about the racemization or the racemic mixture. Now student, what is a racemic mixture? For that, let's take example of butene-2-ol. Now butene-2-ol, you can see that it has got the carbon, asymmetric carbon, four different groups attached to it. So it is forming non-superimposable mirror images, and the two isomers of it are D-butane-2-ol and L-butane-2-ol, that is dextrobutane-2-ol and levobutane-2-ol, right? Now, what is a racemic mixture? It is a mixture which contains, it is a mixture which contains equal amount of D and L isomers, right? And if the plane polarized light will be passed through such a, if a plane polarized light passed through a racemic mixture, that means which contain equal amount of D and L isomer of a compound, right? Then what will happen, student? The dextro form will try to just rotate the plane polarized light toward the clockwise direction. Levo form will turn the light toward the left side or anti-clockwise. As a result, since the equal rotation on both direction occurs, hence there is no optical activity observed. That means there is no rotation of the plane polarized light. But it doesn't mean that the compound will turn as inactive, optically inactive. The compound will remain as optically active compound. Right? This is about the racemic mixture and the process of converting the dextro form or the levo form into the racemic mixture will be known as, student, racemization. So students, just go through it, right? And retention, we have discussed that what is the retention of configuration, which the SN1 mechanism follows, that the configuration around the carbon atom, it is retained, that is the substituent will replace the halogen atom, right, from the same side. As a result, the configuration of the compound remains the same, right? So go through these topics which has been taught in the class. Okay. For now, this much. Thank you.